The vast expanse of the Milky Way galaxy was a tapestry of countless civilizations, each vying for dominance and influence across the vast cosmic stage. Among these, one ancient empire had set its sights on a remote corner, home to a young and seemingly insignificant species, humanity. The Imperial Cyronian dynasty, as it was known, had expanded its borders for centuries, subjugating world after world under the banner of its insatiable ambition. Its leaders viewed the universe through a lens of ruthless pragmatism, considering any species that could not match their technological and military might as little more than obstacles to be swept aside. And so it was that the imperial fleets, their hulking warships bristling with advanced weaponry, made their way towards the unassuming human colonies, intent on bringing them swiftly under the Empire's iron-fisted rule. However, the Cyronians soon found that their expectations of an easy conquest were woefully misplaced. For the humans, a relatively young species that had only recently taken its first faltering steps into the galactic community, possessed a quality that their would-be conquerors had grossly underestimated: an unyielding spirit of defiance. As the first skirmishes erupted between the two forces, the humans demonstrated a level of resilience and ingenuity that caught the Imperial commanders off guard. Their soldiers, though outmatched in terms of technology and numbers, fought with a fervor and determination that belied their relative inexperience. In the face of overwhelming firepower, the humans employed guerrilla tactics, utilizing their intimate knowledge of their homeworlds to stage daring ambushes and sabotage critical Imperial assets. They rallied their scattered forces, drawing upon a shared sense of purpose and a deep-rooted desire for freedom that refused to be extinguished. The Imperial fleets, accustomed to swift and decisive victories, found themselves frustrated at every turn. Their advanced weaponry and tactics, honed through centuries of conquest, proved woefully inadequate against the unpredictable and tenacious human resistance. As the conflict escalated, the humans' reputation for innovation and adaptability only grew. They demonstrated a willingness to sacrifice everything in defense of their newfound liberty, a quality that struck fear into the hearts of their arrogant foes. The Cyronians, unaccustomed to such defiance from a primitive species, grew increasingly unsettled by the humans' refusal to submit. Their commanders, once confident in their inevitable triumph, now found themselves grappling with the reality that this upstart civilization was no mere nuisance to be brushed aside. The spark of humanity's resolve had been ignited, and it was burning brighter with each passing battle. The Imperial forces, for the first time in their long history of conquest, faced the prospect of a formidable adversary that refused to be conquered. The stage was set for a conflict that would test the very limits of the Empire's power and challenge the assumptions that had underpinned its dominance for centuries. The humans, driven by an indomitable spirit, had drawn their line in the sand, ready to face the full might of the galaxy's most fearsome military force. In the depths of the Milky Way, a new chapter in the history of galactic civilization was about to unfold, one that would determine the fate of both the humans and their Imperial overlords. The initial skirmishes between the humans and the Imperial forces had shaken the Cyronians to their core. Their overconfidence had been their undoing, and they were determined not to make the same mistake twice. Stung by the unexpected resistance, the Imperial commanders regrouped, mustering the full might of their vast armada to crush the upstart human colonies once and for all. Vast fleets of sleek, deadly warships emerged from the depths of space, their advanced weaponry primed for a devastating onslaught. The humans, outnumbered and outgunned, braced themselves for the coming storm. They knew that their survival hinged on their ability to adapt and overcome the overwhelming Imperial might. With grim determination, they prepared their defenses, fortifying their cities and mobilizing their limited military resources. As the Imperial juggernaut descended upon the human worlds, the skies erupted in a cacophony of fire and fury. Powerful energy beams lanced through the void, reducing cities to smoldering ruins and scattering the human defenders. Waves of assault craft swarmed the planet's surfaces, raining destruction upon the helpless populace. Yet, even in the face of such overwhelming odds, the humans refused to surrender. They fought back with every ounce of their being, employing every tactic at their disposal to blunt the Imperial advance. Guerrilla fighters harassed the enemy supply lines, while covert operatives infiltrated and sabotaged critical infrastructure. The humans' tenacity and resourcefulness confounded the Imperial commanders, who had grown accustomed to swift and decisive victories. Their advanced technology and numerical superiority proved less effective against the humans' unorthodox methods and unwavering determination. As the conflict raged on, the human worlds were reduced to rubble, their populations decimated by the relentless Imperial assault. But still, the humans refused to be broken. They rallied their scattered forces, drawing upon a shared sense of purpose and a deep-rooted desire for freedom that refused to be extinguished. The Imperial forces, frustrated by their inability to crush the human resistance, responded with ever greater acts of brutality. They deployed devastating weaponry, leveling entire cities and subjecting the populace to unspeakable atrocities. But still, the humans endured, their spirits unbroken. In the face of this unrelenting onslaught, the humans made a desperate gamble. They gathered their remaining resources, technology, and the resolve of their people, crafting a bold plan to deliver a crippling blow to the heart of the Empire. The stage was set for a decisive confrontation, one that would determine the fate of both civilizations. The humans, driven by their thirst for freedom, prepared to face the full might of the Imperial war machine, knowing that the outcome would echo through the annals of history. As the final battle loomed, the humans steeled themselves for the challenge ahead, their eyes blazing with a determination that would shake the foundations of the mighty Cyronian dynasty. For they had tasted the fruits of liberty, and they would fight to the last breath to preserve it. As the Imperial Armada drew ever closer, the humans knew that their time was running short. They had fought with every ounce of their strength, but the relentless onslaught of the Cyronian forces had taken a devastating toll. Their cities lay in ruins, their populations decimated, and their military resources were stretched to the breaking point. Yet, even in the face of such overwhelming odds, the humans refused to surrender. They gathered their remaining forces, their eyes blazing with a determination that would shake the very foundations of the mighty empire. The humans' plan was audacious, a desperate gamble that would either secure their freedom or seal their doom. They would strike at the heart of the Imperial war machine, targeting the key installations and supply hubs that kept the Cyronian juggernaut moving. Under the cover of darkness, elite teams of human operatives infiltrated the enemy strongholds, employing every tactic in their arsenal to disrupt the Imperial forces. They sabotaged vital communications networks, disabled crucial defenses, and sowed chaos within the ranks of the Cyronian troops. As the human strike teams carried out their daring raids, the main bulk of the human forces launched a series of diversionary attacks, drawing the attention of the Imperial commanders and creating openings for their covert counterparts to strike. The battles that ensued were fierce and brutal, with both sides fighting for the very survival of their civilizations. The humans, fueled by their unwavering spirit and a burning desire for freedom, met the full might of the Imperial war machine head-on, refusing to be cowed by the sheer scale of their enemy's power. The skies above the human worlds erupted in a blinding display of firepower as the two forces clashed in a desperate struggle for dominance. The humans, outnumbered and outgunned, exhibited a level of adaptability and resourcefulness that left their foes reeling. They employed unorthodox tactics, leveraging their technological prowess and intimate knowledge of their homeworlds to outmaneuver the Imperial forces. Daring pilots weaved through the hail of enemy fire, delivering devastating strikes against the Cyronian warships, while ground troops harassed the enemy's supply lines, disrupting their ability to reinforce their positions. As the battle raged on, the humans' allies, once hesitant to join the fight, began to rally to their cause. Inspired by the humans' tenacity and bravery, they'd brought their own resources and expertise to bear, adding their strength to the growing resistance against the Imperial onslaught. The tide of the war began to turn, and the Cyronian commanders found themselves scrambling to regroup and counter the unexpected onslaught. Their once vaunted military might was being tested, and they realized, to their horror, that the humans' resolve could not be broken, no matter the cost. In the face of this mounting pressure, the Imperial forces were forced to commit their most powerful assets, unleashing devastating weapons and tactics in a desperate attempt to crush the human resistance once and for all. But the humans, their spirits forged in the crucible of this relentless conflict, refused to be cowed. As the final confrontation drew near, the humans steeled themselves for the ultimate test, knowing that the outcome would determine the fate of their entire civilization. They had come too far to surrender, and they would fight to the last breath to secure their freedom. The stage was set for a climactic showdown that would shake the very foundations of the galaxy as the humans prepared to face the full might of the Cyronian Empire, their resolve unbreakable and their determination unyielding. As the final battle loomed, the humans faced their greatest challenge yet. Outnumbered, outgunned, and with their resources dwindling, they knew that their very survival hung by a thread. Yet they refused to be cowed by the overwhelming might of the Cyronian Empire. The Imperial forces, sensing the humans' desperation, unleashed the full fury of their war machine, determined to crush the upstart civilization once and for all. Vast armadas of sleek, deadly warships descended upon the human worlds, their advanced weaponry primed to rain devastation upon the beleaguered defenders. But the humans, driven by an unshakable spirit and a burning desire for freedom, met the onslaught with a level of determination that confounded their foes. They employed every tactic at their disposal, leveraging their technological prowess and intimate knowledge of their homeworlds to outmaneuver the Imperial forces. In a series of intense, brutal engagements, the humans demonstrated a level of adaptability and resourcefulness that left the Cyronian commanders reeling. They adapted their tactics on the fly, finding creative solutions to overcome the enemy's numerical and technological advantages. The skies above the human worlds erupted in a blinding display of firepower as the two forces clashed in a desperate struggle for dominance. The humans, their ranks thinned but their resolve unbroken, fought with a ferocity that belied their relative inexperience. They employed unorthodox strategies, using everything from kamikaze-style attacks to innovative electronic warfare measures to disrupt the enemy's operations. Their pilots weaved through the hail of enemy fire, delivering devastating strikes against the Cyronian warships, while their ground troops harassed the invaders' supply lines, cutting off their reinforcements. As the battle raged on, the humans' allies, once hesitant to join the fight, were inspired by the sheer tenacity and courage of their fellow defenders. They rallied to the cause, bringing their own resources and expertise to bear, adding their strength to the growing resistance against the Imperial onslaught. The Cyronian forces, unaccustomed to such stiff and unyielding opposition, found themselves increasingly unnerved by the humans' refusal to submit. Their vaunted military might, forged through centuries of conquest, was being tested to its limits by this upstart civilization that refused to be broken. In the face of such relentless resistance, the Imperial commanders were forced to commit their most powerful assets, unleashing devastating weapons and tactics in a last-ditch effort to crush the human defiance. But the humans, their spirits forged in the crucible of this unforgiving conflict, refused to be cowed. They met the enemy's onslaught head-on, their eyes blazing with a determination that would shake the very foundations of the mighty Cyronian dynasty. For they had tasted the fruits of liberty, and they would fight to the last breath to preserve it. As the battle reached its crescendo, the humans' ingenuity and adaptability shone through, allowing them to overcome the overwhelming odds stacked against them. They demonstrated a level of tactical brilliance and sheer force of will that left their foes in awe and fear. The stage was set for a climactic showdown that would determine the fate of both civilizations. The humans, their backs against the wall, but their spirits unbroken, prepared to face the full might of the Cyronian Empire, ready to prove that the true strength of a civilization lies not in its military might, but in the unwavering resolve of its people. The moment of reckoning had arrived, as the two mighty forces clashed in a decisive battle that would shape the course of the war. The humans, driven by their passion for freedom and their unwavering spirit, unleashed a devastating onslaught that left the Imperial Armada reeling. In the chaos of the battle, the humans demonstrated a level of tactical brilliance that confounded their foes. They employed a series of intricate maneuvers, using their intimate knowledge of the battle space to outmaneuver the Cyronian warships and deliver devastating strikes against their most vulnerable points. The Imperial commanders, once confident in their ability to crush the human resistance, found themselves scrambling to regroup and counter the unexpected onslaught. Their advanced technology and numerical superiority, which had served them so well in past conflicts, proved less effective against the humans' relentless determination and adaptability. As the battle raged on, the skies above the human worlds erupted in a blinding display of firepower, with both sides locked in a desperate struggle for supremacy. The Cyronian forces, their confidence shaken, resorted to increasingly desperate measures, unleashing devastating weapons and tactics in a last-ditch effort to break the human defenses. But the humans, their spirits forged in the crucible of this unforgiving conflict, refused to be cowed. They met the enemy's onslaught with an unwavering determination that inspired awe and fear in their foes, their tactics adapting and evolving with each passing moment. In the midst of the chaos, a pivotal moment arose, a turning point that would shape the course of the war. The humans, seizing the initiative, launched a daring and coordinated assault that caught the Imperial forces off guard. With surgical precision, they targeted the Cyronian warship's critical systems, crippling their ability to maintain cohesion and maneuver effectively. The tide of the battle turned, and the humans pressed their advantage, pushing deeper into the enemy's territory. The Imperial command, thrown into disarray, struggled to regain control of the situation, but the humans' relentless onslaught continued to erode their defenses. As the fighting intensified, the Cyronian forces found themselves increasingly overwhelmed, their vaunted military might unable to withstand the sheer force of human determination. The humans, emboldened by their success, continued to push forward, their confidence growing with each hard-won victory. The Imperial commanders, facing the prospect of complete defeat, were forced to confront a sobering reality. Their military superiority was no match for the unbreakable spirit of the human defenders. The once invincible Cyronian dynasty, the scourge of the galaxy, was being brought to its knees by an upstart civilization that refused to submit. In the face of this unprecedented challenge, the Imperial command was thrown into turmoil, their strategies and tactics crumbling in the face of the humans' unwavering resolve. The tide of the war had turned, and the humans, their eyes alight with the fire of freedom, were poised to seize the initiative and deliver a crippling blow to the heart of the Empire. The final showdown loomed, and the humans, their spirit unbroken, prepared to face the might of the Cyronian forces, determined to secure their liberty at any cost. For they had tasted the fruits of freedom, and they would fight to the last breath to preserve it. Facing the prospect of an impending defeat, the Imperial command of the Cyronian dynasty found themselves in an unthinkable position. The humans, once viewed as a mere nuisance, had emerged as a formidable adversary, their unwavering determination and adaptability shattering the very foundations of the Empire's military might. In a desperate attempt to cling to their dominance, the Cyronians resorted to ever more extreme measures. They unleashed their most devastating weapons and tactics, raining down a relentless barrage of destruction upon the human worlds. Cities were reduced to smoldering ruins, populations decimated, and the human forces were pushed to the brink of annihilation. Yet, even in the face of such overwhelming odds, the humans refused to yield. Their spirit, forged in the crucible of this unforgiving conflict, remained unbroken. They stood their ground, meeting the Imperial onslaught with a level of courage and determination that left their foes in awe and fear. The battles that ensued were brutal and uncompromising, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. The humans, their ranks thinned but their resolve undimmed, fought with a ferocity that defied the Cyronians' expectations. They employed unorthodox tactics, leveraging their technological prowess and intimate knowledge of the battle space to outmaneuver their adversaries. As the conflict raged on, the humans' allies, once hesitant to join the fight, were inspired by the sheer tenacity and bravery of their fellow defenders. They rallied to the cause, bringing their own resources and expertise to bear, adding their strength to the growing resistance against the Imperial onslaught. The Cyronian forces, unaccustomed to such unyielding opposition, found themselves increasingly unnerved by the humans' refusal to submit. Their vaunted military might, forged through centuries of conquest, was being tested to its limits by this upstart civilization that refused to be broken. In the face of such relentless resistance, the Imperial commanders were forced to commit their most powerful assets, unleashing devastating weapons and tactics in a last-ditch effort to crush the human defiance. But the humans, their spirits forged in the crucible of this unforgiving conflict, refused to be cowed. They met the enemy's onslaught head-on, their eyes blazing with a determination that would shake the very foundations of the mighty Cyronian dynasty. For they had tasted the fruits of liberty, and they would fight to the last breath to preserve it. As the battle reached its climax, the humans' ingenuity and adaptability shone through, allowing them to overcome the overwhelming odds stacked against them. They demonstrated a level of tactical brilliance and sheer force of will that left their foes in awe and fear. The Cyronian forces, once so confident in their ability to crush the human resistance, found themselves reeling, their vaunted military might proving increasingly ineffective against the tenacity and resourcefulness of the human defenders. In the face of this mounting pressure, the Imperial command was forced to acknowledge the unthinkable. The humans had broken their will to fight. The prospect of complete annihilation at the hands of this upstart civilization was simply too much to bear, and the Cyronians, their pride shattered, were compelled to sue for peace. The humans, their victory secured, stood tall and proud, their triumph a testament to the indomitable power of the human spirit. The empire, humbled and forever changed, was forced to kneel before the very species it had sought to subjugate, a stark reminder that the true strength of a civilization lies not in its military might, but in the unwavering resolve of its people. The Cyronian Empire, once a seemingly unstoppable force that had conquered countless worlds, now found itself on the verge of collapse. The humans, the very species it had so arrogantly dismissed, had risen up and shattered the foundations of its once unassailable power. Reeling from their staggering losses and facing the prospect of complete annihilation, the Imperial command was forced to confront a sobering reality. Their vaunted military might was no match for the unyielding spirit and determination of the human defenders. The battles that had raged across the human colonies had taken a devastating toll on the Cyronian forces. Their advanced technology and numerical superiority had proven woefully inadequate against the humans' relentless adaptability and willingness to sacrifice everything for the sake of their freedom. As the final confrontation loomed, the Imperial commanders, their confidence shaken, were faced with an unthinkable choice: continue the fight and risk the complete annihilation of their civilization, or sue for peace and acknowledge the supremacy of their upstart adversaries. Torn between their pride and the grim realization of their impending defeat, the Cyronians ultimately made the decision that would echo through the annals of history. They would lay down their arms and kneel before the humans, a humbling act that would forever tarnish the legacy of the mighty empire. The news of the Cyronian surrender spread like wildfire through the human worlds, igniting a wave of jubilation and triumph among the beleaguered defenders. They had won, against all odds, and their victory would be remembered as a testament to the indomitable power of the human spirit. As the Imperial forces retreated from the human colonies, the humans emerged from the ashes of their devastated homeworlds, their eyes alight with a newfound determination. They would rebuild, reclaiming what had been taken from them, and they would do so with a resolve that would inspire generations to come. The Cyronian Empire, once the scourge of the galaxy, was forever changed. Its leaders, humbled and humiliated, were forced to acknowledge the true strength of their adversaries, a strength that lay not in their technology or military might, but in the unwavering courage and tenacity of the human people. In the aftermath of the conflict, the humans set about the arduous task of reconstruction, drawing upon their innate resourcefulness and innovative spirit to rebuild their shattered worlds. They forged new alliances, leveraging the resources and expertise of their former foes to aid in their recovery, and they vowed to never again be subjugated by any galactic power. The legacy of the humans' triumph would echo through the stars, inspiring other oppressed civilizations to rise up and challenge the established order. The Cyronian Empire, once the epitome of galactic dominance, was forced to confront its own mortality, a humbling experience that would reshape the balance of power in the Milky Way. As the dust settled and the human worlds began to heal, the people looked to the future with a renewed sense of purpose and hope. They had proven their worth, not just to their former oppressors, but to the entire galaxy, and they would use this newfound influence to forge a path of their own, one guided by the principles of freedom, innovation, and an unbreakable spirit that would inspire generations to come. The humans had burned their worlds to dust, only to rise from the ashes, triumphant and unbroken. And in doing so, they had forever changed the course of galactic history.